Junior, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I have a very active household here in Cork, where I can assure you, when I'm at home, my life is dominated by my children, who have very strong views on lots of things. It's great to be able to have an opportunity to talk to you and to learn from your experiences here in Ireland, and to understand what your ambitions are as well for this country and your part in that future. Because Ireland today is a very, very different place to what it was when I was your age. It is now much more international, more multicultural, with much broader perspectives in terms of diversity and the positivity of that diversity in terms of contributing to Irish society.
Thanks. So I'm going to be asking you 4 questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem. Anything. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is, what is Ireland's current position in relation to migrants into Ireland, and how is this currently responding to the direct provision crisis?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I think Ireland is certainly one of the countries in the European Union that I hope is most welcoming of migrants. We have tried to take a proactive role within the European Union around migration policy, which is unfortunately very controversial politically for some member states. And what we want is, when people are waiting, either individually or with their families, for an asylum application to conclude in terms of decision, we want people to be able to live as part of a community, integrated or as integrated as they can be. We want to have independent living and what's called own door accommodation, if you like, so that families can have privacy and can live, with dignity. We need to try to make decisions faster so that people can have certainty earlier in terms of their future here in Ireland. And then secondly, during that period, I think we need to make sure that people have privacy and dignity and the ability to be able to integrate with local communities and local society. Most importantly, I want Ireland to be seen internationally as a country that is welcoming. The shoe has been on the other foot for most of Irish history, when Irish people have been in other parts of the world looking to be welcomed, looking to be accepted, trying to find employment, trying to integrate with local communities, setting up sports clubs. And that is, I hope, what is helping to colour the political debate in Ireland here in terms of how generous we need to be around creating a multicultural society.
That was direct to the point. Well, you answered everything I wanted to hear. So the second question is, what do you think is going to be the biggest impact of Brexit for teenagers in Ireland?
It's hard to know until we have a final deal, because if we don't have a future relationship agreement with the UK, well, then I think we will see a political relationship between the EU and the UK go through a very disruptive period. And what I mean by that is political tension and a lot less partnership than we otherwise would have seen. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to ensure that young people can continue, particularly from an Irish perspective. We have what's called a common travel area between Britain and Ireland, which allows young people to work and study and get social protection and healthcare supports when they're in the UK. And young people in the UK can do the same when they come here. And we're absolutely determined to protect that. So if you want to go to college in England or Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland, we want to make sure that that remains open to you as an option. If you want to go and work in Britain in the future, as an Irish person, you'll be able to do that without any restriction at all, despite Brexit.
The third question is, how has your job changed since COVID?
If it wasn't for COVID, I'd say we'd be in the same room chatting, and it would be in Dublin or Cork or perhaps over in the west of Ireland. So, first of all, just on a practical sense, I spend maybe 5 or 6 hours a day on video conference calls like this one, talking to people, lobbying, explaining the work that I'm doing. I have an amazing job. It's a huge privilege to be a Minister for Foreign Affairs and a Minister for Defence. I talk to and meet other world leaders all the time, and I'm trying to ensure that Ireland has as big an influence as we can have on global decisions. While my job is a privilege, it's also challenged in the context of COVID because, of course, it's much more difficult to travel. So when you're a foreign minister who can't really travel, then you end up doing an awful lot of your work remotely. And I think post-COVID isn't going to be just going back to normal the way it was before.
Well, like you said, you're a very busy man and you're always in calls like with other people, like you said. But what would you say is the best part of your job, like right now, even like with COVID?
I mean, the best part of my job really is just the privilege of being at the center of decision making, particularly actually at a time of crisis. I mean, you mightn't think it, but actually government is more exciting when you're dealing with crises because it really, really matters. Every decision you make impacts on people's lives. To be part of that in terms of the decision making and the responsibility of that and the trust that the public put in you when you're a senior government minister or the deputy leader of a party like I am, is an extraordinary privilege. And it means that every day I wake up, motivation is never a problem for me. Working late into the night is never an issue for me. What about you? Tell me a little bit about you. What are your hopes and dreams? What do you hope to do?
Well, right now, I've been really into politics right now, and I used to want to be a soccer player, which is like almost every kid's dream. But sometimes you gotta like face reality, and you see that it doesn't always happen to everybody. Yeah. So right now I am chasing politics, and I'm gonna see if I can get someplace up there. And this is a very good start for me that I can be talking to you right now, and it's an honor because it puts me someplace up there, and Great. I can get like kind of like a stepping stool to start my career in politics. And yeah, that's basically it for.
Good. Well, look, I'd really encourage you to do that because, well, first of all, if you're good enough at football, don't give up on that either. You look like you look like quite an athletic young man. So, and going on the result last night against England, we could do with some. We could do with some talent, with some Brazilian blood, I think.
There's a lot of Brazilians playing for Ireland right now. Yeah. For the Shamrock Rovers, there's a lot of Brazilians on that team.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely. Good. That is good. But on politics, I mean, I think one of the things that's missing actually in Irish politics right now in the national parliament is the perspective of immigrants who have come to Ireland from other parts of the world, but who are very Irish now, and maybe have different perspectives in terms of policy development and ambition. Hopefully, our paths will cross again in the future. You sound like a very smart and very informed young man. So I wish you well in your sporting career and potentially in your political career as well.
Thanks. It was an honor talking to you.
Thanks, Junior. Good to talk to you.